Good afternoon. What's up, everybody? It is 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. As I tweeted out earlier, and as you can see from the time on the YouTube description, we're moving this up to 4 o'clock now. It's going to be 4 o'clock every Tuesday, same day. We are going to move this. The plan is to move this to 4:30 on Thursday, February 9th. So no Tuesday stream that week. Just because of the trade deadline. So we're going to have a trade deadline show, kind of use this space to answer questions and provide some reactions, and hopefully have a guest join us for that one. Um, Hopefully everybody enjoyed having Adam King last week. Adam is awesome. We hope to get him back on here for another show in the future. This week is going to be me solo, and next week we're going to bring in Dan Titus, an old friend of mine. We used to work together at Fantasy Pros. We did a podcast of our own, some time back. And he's the head of content over at Yahoo now, crushing it there. So we're going to bring him on next week to answer some questions. If you guys like me bringing a guest on to do these live chats, we're going to continue to do that. I won't share the comments here while I'm doing the stream, but if you guys want to just drop in the chat here, hey, I enjoyed having Adam on there. I'm looking forward to Dan being on there. And anybody else you might want me to bring on here to talk some fantasy hoops for this stream. Just please let me know, and I will definitely look into that and take all that feedback. So with that disclaimer out of the way, guys, let's just go ahead and jump right in. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, the man of the hour, Jonathan Isaac, returned yesterday, and in 10 minutes looked pretty good. Call me skeptical. I've been skeptical that he's going to, play significant minutes. That he's going to be able to stay on the court and stay healthy, what his role might be after Orlando's front court has kind of expanded. Last time we saw Jonathan Isaac, right, it was the Mickey Mouse bubble. That was the last time we saw him. So now that he's back, he played 10 minutes last night. He had 10 points. He had a couple of triples, had a couple of steals. He looked great, right? You couldn't have asked for a better debut, even if it was just in 10 minutes. Took 7 shots in 10 minutes. He came out aggressive, and it's exactly what you wanted to hear. So I've been skeptical about him. Alex Rickleen, who writes for RotoWire, CBS, and a number of other sites, has been on Isaac for a while. So shout out to him. He's been telling people to pick him up. But again, Isaac is worth an ad. I think if you have the space to do so, again, he's not a guy to drop for established players. And some of the questions here in the chat kind of go into that a little bit and ask some of those things. So we'll go ahead and get into it, guys, after my, little rambling and, several minutes soliloquy to open this thing up. So again, thanks for joining me, guys. Let's go ahead and just dive right in here. Let me pull some questions up here. Well, it faded away. Let's see. There we go. Onions, back here for some of your wisdom. Onions, I'm crying, man. I'm crying. I got the bowl of onions here in front of me. I've been offered Don Mitchell and John Collins. So Don and John for DeJounte and JV. Should I pull the trigger? It's a no for me. I think Mitchell started the season out on fire, first-round value for a good part of the opening season. No, so Mitchell has the highest upside of these guys. I know DeJounte was a first-rounder last year, but DeJounte now alongside Trey just doesn't have that kind of upside to me. Obviously, last couple of weeks he's been a second-roundish type of guy. Play has improved. JV's been a top 90 guy over the last couple of weeks. And that's with all these big double-doubles, right? He's still not giving you a ton in the way of defensive stats. So that's kind of where his value has tapered off this year. And the efficiency from him as well. His efficiency is way up when Zion is not in the lineup. And Zion is expected to make his return sometime. The hope is that he's back by the end of the month. Which is just now, surprisingly, just a week away. So I think at this point, this guy is trying to sell high on Valanciunas, which is, a good idea. I think you should sell high on Valanciunas if you have him. But if you're the guy that's receiving Valanciunas, I wouldn't be giving up. I wouldn't be giving up too much to get him. So, yeah, I would. I favor the Donovan Mitchell side. Oh, I'm sorry. I misread this, man. I totally misread this. You were offered Mitchell and Collins for Murray and Valanciunas. So yes, I'm sorry, man. I went on this whole rant about this, and just to say, yes, you should accept this for the reasons I just stated. I misread this. I thought you were the one that was giving up Donovan Mitchell. So yes, if you're getting Mitchell, if you're getting Don and John for Murray and Valanciunas, absolutely take it. Collins has been down a little bit recently, but he's top 75. That's his floor, is top 75, and usually gives you top 50-ish numbers. So yes, pull the trigger on that one. Again, sorry guys, I'm kind of rambling. I'm a little bit all over the place today. All right. Should I trade Anthony Edwards before Cat comes back? Absolutely not. Hang on to Anthony Edwards. We're not sure when Cat's coming back. Timberwolves have been a little tight-lipped on it. We don't know even what he's going to look like, especially as, again, this has been my biggest concern, especially as Minnesota continues to lose games. Another question here from Huga. Man, sorry, guys. Having some issues here showing the comments from Hugaditas Fresquitas. My Spanish is not excellent, so I'm not entirely sure what that name is, what that name means. But somebody dropped Jalen Williams because of poor outings the last 4 games. Should I pick him up? Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and pick him up. And Hugaditas, if you're in here, man, if you wouldn't mind just dropping in the chat here, what that name means. I would love to know what it is. But absolutely, Jalen Williams he's had some really good moments this season. He's a guy that's in that silly season conversation to have a big, strong end of season finish. So yeah, absolutely. Moving on here. Should I hold on to Melton in a 12-team deep points league? Yeah, especially if it's a deep points league. Absolutely. Should I drop Richardson for Sohan? How's the rest of the season outlook? This is a tough one. I think everybody is obviously we love Jeremy Sohan and what he can do. It's been really tough for him fantasy wise though, just because he's at this point he's a better on the court player than he is for fantasy, just because of the counting stats and some of the the efficiency numbers with your percentages. So no, so Richardson is the preferred guy to have right now. Just because of what he's able to accomplish, and with Vassell out, he's been the better play right now. Even though Sohan's long-term upside is better than Richardson's, it's Richardson. It's going to be the guy you want right now. Jonathan Isaac, finally back. No more trolling. Any update on Miles Bridges? None that I'm aware of. I wouldn't be rostering him right now. Here's an Isaac question. Should I drop Jabari Smith or Gordon for Isaac? No, absolutely not. Smith, again, Smith is such a polarizing guy. He's a guy that a lot of people have been asking, and a lot of things I've been seeing on social media saying, is Jabari Smith a drop? Smith was dropped in my league. Go get him. It's been up and down. He's a rookie. The shooting percentages are going to be all over the place. He's going to have some really poor games. But the upside is there. Again, for a guy that can shoot threes and swat shots and get rebounds for you and occasionally put up some pretty big point totals, those are the type of guys you want to have on your fantasy team. If you can stomach the field goal percentage, right? Which is, I don't see that vastly improving by the end of the season. I think it will improve, but I don't think it's going to be, it's not going to even come close to 50%. So I would not drop either of these guys. Gordon's having the best season of his career. Smith's upside is phenomenal. I wouldn't be doing that for Isaac. Arthur Yen back here with, should I drop Smith, Gordon, or Norm Powell? Yeah, Norm Powell, sure. Drop Norm Powell. Norm Powell is a fringe, 12-team guy. The Clippers supposedly have been, healthy recently. We've seen PG, we've seen Kawhi back out there. Powell doesn't give you a whole ton of upside, and especially he doesn't really have a diverse stat set, right? So absolutely. Hi, Zach. I dropped Sims for Gafford in a 12-team league. Conversely, I dropped Gafford for Fultz in a 10-team league. Thoughts on both and on Gafford in general? I love Gafford in general. Again, I think the only thing that is going to be in the back of people's minds is, can he stay healthy? But when he's healthy, especially Porzingis is going to be out for at least a little bit of time. Gafford was starting alongside him, but now he's going to be the main guy underneath. The Wizards just traded Rui, obviously, so you're going to see maybe some more opportunity open up for him. I think Denny Avdia is going to be your biggest beneficiary of the Rui trade, but certainly Gafford could stand to get a couple of extra minutes. And, obviously we know he's such a good per minute producer that even a couple extra minutes might lead to some additional production for you. So, no, I really like Gafford. I would have dropped Sims for him as well. And dropping Gafford for Fultz in a 10-team league based on your team build, there's nothing wrong with that either. Absolutely. Tyrese Maxey, rest of season. Yeah, I think you can expect Tyrese Maxey to play well for the rest of the season. I don't see any downside to him other than he's been coming off the bench pretty frequently. Again, I think they're trying to kind of play cautious with him a little bit. But he's been in the starting lineup as well, so I don't see any reason to panic with Tyrese Maxey. I think that's probably why people are most maybe a little on edge about him, is just because he's not starting every single night. But yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about him. Oh man, trade Giannis and Fox for Joker in a multi-cat dynasty. Wow. Woo. Uh Giannis and Fox for Joker. Yeah, I think I'm pulling the trigger on this one. Giannis is a top 10 dynasty guy. Fox is, top, what are we saying? Top 30, top 40. But Joker has the upside to be fantasy's number one guy for the foreseeable future, right? For at least 3 or 4 years. Giannis does kind of come with that wrinkle of you have to punt free throw percentage. And, if you're in a dynasty head-to-head league, that's fine. If you're in a dynasty roto league, obviously Giannis's value takes a little bit of a dip just because of that free throw percentage. But yeah, I think I'm making that trade and just getting fantasy's number one player who's still at a young enough age where he can make that same impact for the next several years for sure. Looking for a shooting guard. Pick between Tim Hardaway, Seth Curry, or Malik Beasley. Seth Curry, Malik Beasley, or Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm not going to be touching Timmy Hardaway, I don't think. Obviously, Seth Curry has seen his role increase with Kevin Durant out of action. And Malik Beasley, for the most part, has been pretty solid for this season. So I think, let me just take a look at something really quick here. I just want to see what Seth's minutes have been here recently. Yeah, so almost 30 minutes a night here recently. Obviously, the returns haven't been phenomenal, but he's still been out there, still shooting better than 50% from the floor, putting up about 15 points a game. Yeah, it's going to be Seth Curry for me. I know Malik Beasley's fallen off a bit here recently, so yeah, give me Seth, and he makes a pretty good stream until until Kevin Durant returns. Rookies you expect to break out second half of the season. If you've been paying attention to the Rockets, or if you've been listening to this live stream, I've been huge on Tari Eason for the entire season. I hate to sound like a broken record, but he's been really good recently. He's been getting some extra opportunities, obviously, with some of these guys in and out of the lineup. We've seen Jabari injured recently. We've seen KPJ injured recently. So guys like Eason, guys like KJ Martin have been, getting some increased run. And Tari's a guy that I think at the end of the season is really going to make a big impact. Top stashes for the trade deadline. Yeah, this one's interesting for the trade deadline. So we got to be thinking about who's going to be traded, who are some of the big names that are rumored. I think if we're looking at some of these guys and some of these teams, Denny Avdia is a huge one for me. I think Kuzma could be on the move, and obviously he's a great ad now, thanks to Rui. I think potentially, I think not right now, but if we're talking about guys that could be more impactful at the end of the season, I would look at somebody like a Ricky Rubio maybe in case Karis LeVert gets moved. Mason Plumlee, in Charlotte, I think Mark Williams could have a big impact. We'll see what Dallas ends up doing. Maybe Jaden Hardy has a good end of season. Sadiq Bey has been mentioned as somebody that could be, a trade option. Guys like Isaiah Jackson, Tari Eason. I'm just kind of, running through my head here, different teams. I think maybe somebody like a Joe Ingles, just depending on, Chris Middleton, if he can stay healthy towards the end of the season. I really like Nas Reed. I think maybe Minnesota could trade him. I think he's been too impactful for him to do so, but depending on Cat's status and depending on Gobert's injuries, Drew Eubanks in Portland, I think, is another one to consider. Rashawn Holmes, if he gets moved just because of the impact that Sabonis has had. So those are some of the guys I think that immediately come to mind. I do like Jericho Sims rest of season, Jalen Williams, obviously, but he's rostered a good many places. If New Orleans continues to deal with injuries, Dyson Daniels could be another one. And then if Chicago ends up making moves, right? I'm not sure if they blow it up, but if they do make some major moves, guys like Ayo Dosunmu and Kobe White could be in the mix as well. And then if we're looking at Boston, depending on how long these injuries to Smart and Rob Williams and some of these boys, continue, then I think maybe Derek White and Grant Williams have some appeal. And then finally, we'll talk about Atlanta. I think maybe if John Collins gets moved, we could be looking at a potential Jalen Johnson. So again, for me to just kind of rattle off a bunch of names here, I know that's a lot, but those are some of the guys that I think maybe have some of that silly season appeal or some of that trade deadline value. Trade Melo in case he gets shut down come playoff time. I'll say it again. I've said it time and again on here. Everybody has a price, right? So trade LaMelo if you can get fair value. Again, trading a guy right now while he's injured, while he's still working his way back, while he just had his 15th ankle injury. I'm not going to be trading him right now. You're going to be getting pennies on the dollar. Okay. As an AD owner in a 10-team head-to-head dynasty, is Big Tom Bryant worth holding as a handcuff for the remainder of the season? Yeah, absolutely. I think Big Tom Bryant is worth holding on to. Love the nickname. I'm anxious to see how Hachimura impacts his minutes. But I think Bryant, just as the true center on that team, I think is going to continue to see plenty of run, and he's been pretty phenomenal filling in. Okay, moving on here. Drop Okongwu for Denny, Nance, or Isaac. Yeah, man, we saw how great Okongwu could be. But with Capella getting back in the mix, with Okongwu dealing with some injuries of his own, I think I would drop Okongwu for Denny. I really have a good feeling about Denny rest of season. When do you think KP will come back? What is the diagnosis on him? I think it's 2 weeks, right? There's optimism he's back in a couple of weeks. But again, you never know. He's missed extended time in the past. This is the healthiest I remember him being in some time. It looks like he's kind of bulked up a bit. Looks like he's able to maybe deal with some of these injuries a little bit better. I think Kingy last week kind of alluded to that he's put some more meat on his bones and looks a little bit more durable. So I definitely think he's in a better position to return from this injury than he has been in the past. Let's take a look here. Drop Fultz or keep Patrick Williams? I think I'm trying to understand this. Drop Fultz. Yeah, you could drop Fultz, or you could keep Patrick Williams. I mean, you could do both, right? But I prefer Fultz over Patrick Williams. Would you trade away Bane to get Kawhi in a category keeper league? Heck no, right? Yeah, for me, it's heck no. I know that's not the consensus opinion. I think some people are higher on Kawhi. Obviously, Kawhi has come back and really played well here as of late. I still am concerned about the injury risk, and especially if we're talking about a keeper league. I think Bain is, we saw Bain putting up third round value here earlier in the season. So, and he's very young too. So, yeah, for me, it's Bain, but I don't think they're miles apart in everybody else's eyes, or at least other analysts' eyes. Hey Zach, hope you're well, man. I am doing well. I'm doing great, actually. Thanks, Brian. I hope the same is true for you, my friend. Any news on Hallie? I have TJM and trying to decide when to keep or let go. I don't have any updates on Hallie. I wish I did. Um, yeah, I'm hoping to see him back as soon as possible. For right now, just hold on to TJ McConnell. He's been excellent. He's blown away everybody's expectations. Another trade. Trade Scotty Barnes and Aaron Gordon for Bam and Sexton. Ouch. Um, yeah, that's a tough one. Sexton has just really been this season. He's really disappointed. Um, Obviously, so has Barnes. Gordon has been great. But man, we've seen what Bam could do here recently. Top 25 value over the last couple of weeks. It seems like he's putting up a double double every night. Um, my buddy Alex Burns, at A Burns Hoops on Twitter. Make sure you go follow him and check out his work. He's an awesome dude. He's a big Miami Heat fan. He just wrote up an article recently that outlined how Bam has been so impactful for Miami winning this season, and a big recipe for that is double doubles for him, staying involved on the glass, scoring a lot of points, being aggressive on offense, and we've seen that from him recently. So no, I think I will take the side with Bam, even if that means I have to take Sexton. Um, which again, I feel like Sexton is just hey, I'll trade for him and I'll stash him if I have the room. Otherwise, I'm just making that 2-for-1 trade and just dropping Sexton and using that as a streaming position, which is what I'd be more inclined to do. But I would like to have Bam, especially now that he's started picking up. The defensive numbers earlier in the season were, and now they're way up, and his value is pretty sky high right now. I would make that move. Please rank them. Yeah, I will rank them. Slow mo, Melton, J Dub, rest of season in a 9 cat. I think slow mo is 1, Williams is 2, and Melton is 3. All 3 are still 12-team league guys. But obviously now that Philadelphia is getting a little bit healthier with Maxey and Harden back, Melton's appeal has taken a little bit of a hit. So yeah, I think I go slow mo, J Dub, and Melton. Let's see, moving along here. Okay. J Rich and Schroeder, rest of season. Also, I picked up Marky Dubs, and he looks great his last 3 games. What are your thoughts? Um, yeah, I think Richardson and Schroeder, both are going to be options in 12-team leagues, especially in a 16-team league. Obviously, both will be great. I prefer Schroeder, I think, just because at point guard he's been pretty phenomenal, even with LeBron James going off here recently since his 38th birthday. I think Schroeder has been, really good. But Richardson is also, I mean, they're not miles apart, but I do prefer Schroeder. Mark Williams, yeah, I mentioned him earlier as a silly season type of guy, especially if Plumlee gets traded. Yeah, we saw what Mark Williams did at Duke, right? He's just a big boy, and he's going to go up and get rebounds. He's going to slam the ball home. And he's going to swat shots, and that's what you're getting from him. And we're seeing that in Charlotte right now, and we really haven't seen that type of. That's kind of been their Achilles heel recently. I mean, they have Ball, they have Rozier. Obviously, they used to have guys like Miles Bridges. When he was playing, they have a Kelly Oubre. Um, they're good at point guard. They're good on the wing. Their forward depth is pretty good when Gordon Hayward is healthy. Center has just kind of been what's been lacking for them, and Mark Williams is really that prototypical type of center that's going to be under the basket, protecting the paint. So I think he's going to be great for them. Fresh plays. There it is. I love it. Thank you, sir. Another question from Brian. Is Rui worth adding? Yes, Rui is definitely worth adding. I am skeptical, not skeptical as much as curious to see if he can give you anything more than points. Occasionally he'll hit some triples. Occasionally he'll get on these runs where he's shooting 55% from the field, and he's phenomenal for you. He doesn't have big turnovers. So that's always helpful, and he can score 20 a night. And he might score 20 a night for the Lakers. They probably brought him on to be a reliable scoring option. But for fantasy, is he going to do anything more for you than just points? Is he going to hand out assists? Is he going to get a lot of rebounds? Is he going to rack up some defensive stats? I don't know. If he's not doing those things, I'm not interested in having him. But certainly, he's worth picking up to see if maybe his skill set expands a little bit coming to Los Angeles. Should I pick up Jalen Williams and drop Aaron Gordon? No, Gordon's established. Jalen Williams, I love his upside, but Aaron Gordon is having the best season of his career. Go ahead and hang on to him. I got too many bigs. That's a good problem to have. And I got to move one. Who should be traded? Sabonis, Zion, Collins, Keegan, and Jakob Poeltl in a 9-cat. I'm not sure I consider Keegan a big necessarily, but I get the idea here. You're hanging on to Sabonis. Zion is not going to get you fair trade value right now because he's out. Poeltl, I don't think people are going to want to trade you for Poeltl. I wouldn't want to be acquiring Poeltl right now just because he's on the block, it seems like, in San Antonio. And I think people are probably anxious about John Collins getting traded as well. But Collins over the last couple of weeks, his value is way down as well. So I think you can trade Keegan. I'm not sure what you're going to get. I wouldn't be trading Sabonis just because. I mean, he's putting up some ridiculous, numbers. He's a triple-double threat every night. I saw this. I think it was NBA memes that put out a graphic that was Şengün, Charmander, Sabonis, Charmeleon, and Jokic, Charizard. Right. So I mean, this is kind of that center that can pass the ball at an elite level, get ridiculous amount of rebounds, maybe get you some defensive stats and score a bunch of points. So you don't want to get rid of Sabonis right now. And I really do worry about what the trade value of these other guys is. But I would float all three of them out there, Zion, Collins, and Poeltl, and see what you could get. But Sabonis is not the one that I would be trading personally. Oh, and Ben Simmons in the mix too. Yeah, I'd float him out there and see what people are willing to offer, but I know his trade value is kind of like all over the place. He's really, really a polarizing guy. Okay, let's see here. If and when Eric Gordon gets traded, pick up Eason right away. Absolutely. Is Emmanuel Quickley worth holding? Yeah, I think Emmanuel Quickley is worth holding. Man, I know this is frustrating with a Tom Thibodeau rotation. But I mean, here over the last couple of weeks, last 6 games, he's averaging better than 30 minutes a game. He has Thibodeau's trust. Thibodeau's not playing a young guy 30 minutes unless he has his full trust. So I definitely think he's worth holding on to. It's just a matter of how your team is constructed and who you might have to sacrifice in order to hang on to him on your team. So that's kind of where all that comes into play here. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? What's your outlook for Middleton? 6 turnovers yesterday hurt me. Ooh, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Middleton scares me. Not able to stay healthy. Numbers are uncharacteristically poor for him. So yeah, I'm certainly concerned. Ooh, yeah, Batman. I wrote him up on Saturday for NBC's pickups article, and yeah, he definitely. Uh, it was a snoozer. Squandered a nice opportunity to shine last night for sure. He did. Will he throw us another snooze fest tonight? Yeah. Who do they play? They play Miami, I believe. Yeah, Miami. Um, I hope he doesn't. Obviously, Grant Williams can shine. Rob Williams is out. I think he's out or questionable. Horford is resting. Obviously, I think Brogdon's out for personal reasons. Sorry, guys, I keep saying obviously. Um, and Marcus Smart, I believe, is out. So, yeah, a lot of key injuries. This is going to be a chance for him to shine. If he doesn't shine tonight, you can go ahead and drop him. But I still believe, still be putting the bad signal out for him. The real question, Tari or Jalen Duren? Yeah, getting to the heart of the issue here. It's Jalen Duren. I love Tari Eason. I loved him out of LSU. I'll continue to sing his praises. I think he's one of the best rookies. I think his upside moving forward is phenomenal. If he gets minutes, he can be a monster performer on both ends of the court. Make a huge impact for Houston. But it's Duren right now. The rebounds are elite. He's starting to pick up the defensive production. His offense is good. I think what was it, 23 and 14, 23 and 15 the other night. Um, obviously that was a blowout to Milwaukee, but still, those are huge numbers. And his role is pretty secure in Detroit's front court. The same cannot be said of Tari Eason. Best veteran point guard to trade for? That is an interesting question. So I think it depends on what you're looking for. In your lineup, I assume if you're looking for a point guard, you're probably looking for assists. And I think a guy that you can acquire very, very, very cheaply and who's averaging better than 7 assists a game, Mike Conley. Very boring. Not going to get you a ton of other production. But if we're talking about, just a veteran point guard, a guy that you can easily acquire. Uh, I think my vote there is going to be for Connolly. Um, just looking through here, some of these other point guards and some of these veteran guys that you might be able to acquire on the cheap. Because obviously a lot of these guys, veteran point guards, some of them are going to be highly rostered. Some of them are pretty highly ranked. It's going to take a lot to get them. Um, yeah, not seeing a ton of other guys that I'm zeroed in on here. So yeah, let's stick with Mike Connolly. Jabari Smith or Jalen Williams? Jabari Smith for me. Trade Edwards, I'm assuming Anthony Edwards and Cam J for Kyrie and KP. That's a no-brainer. I'd have clicked accept on that in a heartbeat. Um, Kyrie has just been an absolute baller here recently. And KP, I know there's an injury risk, but I mean the same is true of Cam Johnson. And I would trade Edwards straight up for Kyrie. So to me, that's a no-brainer. And KP's upside is a top 15 guy. Cam Johnson is not going to have that same level. Would I trade Lowry for Ant-Man? Ooh, wow, that's a tough one. I think I'm sticking with Lowry on this one. I think I'm done with Gordon. Even when he's not injured, he sucked. Can you talk me out of dropping him, or he's done? I can't try. I probably can't talk you out of dropping him because, I mentioned him in a column the other day and said, hey, grab him. I think I even put, hey, I hate writing this, but pick him up because he can give you top 100 production and everybody's hurt for Charlotte. And that's still kind of how I feel. I don't like to, I don't like to mention Gordon Hayward just because of those health risks. But I mean, who are you picking up on the waiver wire? Just depending on your league, there might be some hot pickups out there. There might be some guys to go grab, but I'm not sure who that's going to be. It's dependent on your league. He's not a must hold though. Rest of season in a points league. Hayward, Cam Johnson, or DeLon Wright. Ouch. In a points league, I think I'll go Cam. Okay. Let's see here. We have time for just a few more here, guys. Ayton has disappointed this season. Shall I try to trade him, or could he turn it around? Yeah, he disappointed to start the season. He balled out there for 3 or 4 weeks, and then now he's back to kind of stinking it up again and getting injured here recently. So again, when it comes to trade value, the worst time to trade a guy is when he's stinking, when he's hurt. And Ayton has been both of those things recently. So I don't think you're going to get fair trade value for a guy that you probably drafted in the 4th or 5th round. Again, I know that's a sunk cost right now, but if you're weighing upside versus potential return, I think you got to just kind of bite the bullet and hang on to him. How likely is it Orlando moves one of their tall guys? I don't think that likely. I mean, based on their draft history and based on guys they bring in, it seems like there's some kind of weird obsession with these really tall guys. That can shoot threes. It seems like that's just a thing that Orlando likes. They got Isaac, they got Bowl, they got WCJ, they got Bamba. I mean, it just seems like these are guys that they covet, right? So I don't think that happens. Moving on, AG and Poole for Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, make that move, sure. Is there a world where DeLon Wright leapfrogs Monty Morris' starting point guard role, or at least his overall value? Yeah, I think we're already seeing. I'm not sure about the starting role, but we're already seeing him leapfrog him in fantasy value. Um, Wright is over the last few weeks is one of the NBA steal leaders, and it's a pretty valuable category in fantasy hoops. So for that alone, yeah, I think he's certainly starting to pass the mark. Got time for two more here, guys. Again, if I didn't get to your question today, please hit me up on Twitter at Zach the Monster. Happy to answer DMs or just mention me and I'll write you back. Otherwise, certainly would welcome some feedback on on the issue or on the issue of bringing guests onto the live stream. If there's anybody you guys would like me to invite on here in the future, certainly let me know and I'll do my best to make that happen. Like I said, we'll be back here next Tuesday with Dan Titus from Yahoo. Really excited about that one. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be switching over to Thursday for some trade reaction and hopefully bring another guest on for that one. All right, so let's see here. Better hold rest of season, slow-mo or Olynyk. Be slow-mo there. Finally, Derek White or Josh Richardson. I will go with Derek White. All right, guys, that is going to end our live stream for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I love being here talking hoops with you guys. There's always some fire questions here. You guys are always, I don't know if you can smell the smoke, but you get my brain working here, get the gears turning, and make this really fun and enjoyable for me. I see a lot of the same people in the chat every week. So again, guys, I very, very grateful for your support, and thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you next Tuesday. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Take care.